Okay, so here we are, and we keep on continuing on the right angle cross of the sleeping phoenix with the 1-3 profile. And it's all about the bully. It's the line of the bully. The indiscriminate use of power. Karma is a funny thing. Karma says what you put out, you get back. And of course, this is just another one of those cause and effect things. One of the things to understand about the 34 is that because I love these becauses, because the 34 is the most powerful utilizer of power, it's also the place where power is received. What I mean by that is that if you put out the bully, eventually you get the bully back. And this whole business of concupiscence, this whole business of karmic retribution, all of these things is rooted in the 34, always. So the 34 puts out its brute power at some point that bounces back on it. It's the classic story of the bully in the schoolyard. Sooner or later, there's a bigger kid. Sooner or later, there's somebody that will take the bully down to the sides. It always happens in life, and it doesn't happen in the schoolyard, it'll happen somewhere on the street. But it's one of these things where the 34 always, when it puts out its power, gets it back. It's how it empowers others. So when you're dealing with the bully, the energy to display power is a response to frustration that is exalted, then you can see that the not self-manifesting generator, pure manifesting generator, will give you the framework for all manifesting generators is that when you look at the pure manifesting generator at its very, very foundation, what you see is that they are naturally deeply frustrated, which is what drives them to skip things, to jump over things. And of course, the come-uppance for the manifesting generators, when they skip something, it comes back to haunt them. Cogniopens is an interesting thing. Come-uppance. Oh, a beautiful example right now. There are continual hearings going on in the United States Senate that George Bush has appointed a man, Bolton, I think his name is, to be the next ambassador to the United Nations. And this is a guy that constantly trashes the UN. So he's in the Senate meeting, and there was a description of him from somebody else that's one of the best descriptions I've ever heard. It's kiss up, kick down. He's a kiss up, kick down kind of guy. It's so interesting that there is this guy. He's going to get a real big position, lots of power, and what he's accused of is being a vicious bully. So there's this bully who's been bullying his way to the top of nobody hears anything, and he gets appointed to this high office, and all of a sudden here comes the con uppance. Imagine what it was for like him to be described on live television for all of America to indulge in a kiss up, kick down kind of guy. I loved it. That's come-uppance. Putting out power doesn't mean that the come-uppance is equivalent in nature or quality that what you put out. This is the great risk for 34s. They put out their body power, and the assumption would be that the cause and effect you're going to have coming back to you is the mirror of what you're putting out. It never happens that way. The comeuppance is something totally different, and nobody understands karmic punishment better than the 34s. These are the people that really get into the end, one way or the other, by the way. Retaliation is one of the themes of this line. So when you're dealing with a 1-3, what you want to do is clasp your hands in prayer and do the best you can to teach them when they're young. They're going to make mistake in the display of their power. It's only natural. They're going to use brute force in the wrong time, in the wrong place, in the wrong way. And they're going to get their comeuppance. There's nothing more dangerous than repressing the sacral system. A 34 that cannot use their power is going to have enormous sacral problems. The sacral will lead to all kinds of problems, physical problems, energy problems, and begins to eat at them. The advantage always in the 1-3 is that the 1-3 can discover that using brute force doesn't work. The first time they try to bully their mother and their mother gives them a shot is the first moment they understand, well, maybe I should use my power a little bit more subtlety. Remember, it's so powerful. I'm integration. I have all integration except the 34. So in all my life, I've been very, very sensitive to this power. And it's the power that most amazes me, and the power that at the time I look at it, I just shake my head, because there can be such a lack of subtlety in the way in which the power is used. And you really see that in the first line. Because you're dealing with a 1-3, it's understandable. Where it really becomes frightening is the 3-5 application of this. It's no longer just the innocence of the 1-3. So let's go to the 1-4. One food bully their friends. There are all kinds of beings that force, after all, have their investment in their network, and they have their network. And this is one of the focus that is always, and I will say, bully your friends. They use their power in relationship to their friends. power displays an act of selfishness. What else can it be? There's nothing more selfish than the 2434. I don't say that in a bad way. If you look at the cross of the sleeping phoenix, it's the 55 conqueration in the sixth line. You're right there. Selfishness. It's not like it's an alien in any of this. Individuality, by its very nature, is selfish. It absorbs in its process. And then you have a 1-3 that have a 2034 fix that is always pushing the power to the throat. You begin to see this dilemma right now. They're going to have their problems. So the 1-4 is going to drive its friends. The manifesting generator is pure form is an ultimate slave. 2034s have no direction other than 4323s. It's very difficult to guide a 2034. They are the ultimate loose cannon. They're running on this endless treadmill like a hamster in a cage, and they run everybody around them. When you're looking at the 1-4, you're running their whole network. They're pushing everyone in that network, and they're charismatic. It's not like they don't have the power, they do. Remember, it's one of the things that the God said we must have a record definition. 3223, 2034s, 4037s. We need to have them. They're the basis of the soup. So this busy, this display of power, this individual self, this display of power is a basic ingredient. We know in the end that the 34 is part of integration and here to supply the essential power for a mechanism that has no power. If you look at what I have here, you see very clearly that in integration I'm powerless. The throat to the G to the spleen. The sacral is the secret to integration. The 34 is the secret to integration. It's the thing that gives its power, the power to establish the archetype, the power to follow the conviction, the power to be charismatic and to active in the now with awareness. So the 34 has a sense of importance. And because it seems to be able to do this is the great slave part. It's constantly empowering those around it. It's a chaos system. If you pay attention to the activity cycle of the 2034, then you recognize how many people are caught up in the same activity cycle. It's this busy. So you don't have to think that you're going to lie. It's busy, that you don't have that moment to reflect on the fact that all this may be meaningless. It's busy. So you can don't reflect on the fact that the very use of your power is a waste of your time and energy. More than that, if you don't want to pay attention because you don't want to be reminded of what you missed and you don't want the comeuppance that's due, you just keep running on the treadmill, running on the treadmill. So don't run too much. Stop doing that. It's not your thing.